Sonic Shuffle is one of my favorite video games of the Sonic series. It's a very underrated game for a bunch of reasons. I'd like to dissect and explain to you guys the little secrets that I feel like I uncovered in the intro to Sonic Shuffle, which is an amazing badass intro. It's glittered with all kinds of little secrets. Well, firstly, Sonic is on the top of a pole in what we can assume is Station Square. This mimics the first cutscene in Sonic Adventure where Sonic is on top of the building and a card flashes by that says the number 2 on it. I think it's meant to signify that Sonic at this point in time during the Dreamcast era is in 2 dimensions, or has 2 dimensions rather. You got Planet Mobius from the old games, and now you have Earth. So I think that's what the card of number 2 means in this intro. But it also has a double meaning because each of the characters in this intro has a specific number for a specific reason. The card that flashes before Sonic in the intro, I think is supposed to be Eggman's card. I think it's supposed to mean that he's the least powerful of all 5 of the main Sonic characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Eggman. So the number 2 card has a double meaning, and it's the number 2. So it's like a double meaning. And plus, there's another double meaning to the number 2 card, because Sonic enters into the new realm that's in the game of Sonic Shuffle in the intro, which is Imaginary World. So now Sonic is entering another new dimension. So this game establishes that there are 3 dimensions in the Sonic universe. You got Mobius, which is where Green Hill Zone exists. Then you have Earth, and then you have Imaginary World. I think that they toy with the idea that Imaginary World could just be a dream Sonic has, and hence its title, Imaginary World. It might not be real. It could be a figment of Sonic's imagination, because I think there was a Sonic comic that came out at the time that had a tie-in with Sonic Shuffle. And if I can recall correctly, I believe that's what the comic said. But the game doesn't say this, but I believe that comic that came out at the same time did. So we see Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy flying through, entering new Imaginary World. Such an amazing music score this intro has. It just is one of the most epic, amazing video game intros of all time. Even if you hate the game, this intro is badass. And as a kid, it did get me excited to playing it. The only fault, really, that I'll give to Sonic Shuffle is that it's just too damn difficult. It's like 10 times, if not 20 times, harder than Mario Party's stories in the Mario Party games are. That's the only flaw I'd give it. Other than that, it's a pretty great game. So I don't really understand all the annoying criticisms that the game has. Now I really want to get into what is the meaning behind all 4 of the levels they show in the intro when it comes to the regard of the characters. You might not think it means anything, that all the levels are just at pure random and there's really no significance to it, but as I've digged deeper, I think that each level in the intro is meant to represent all 4 of the characters. It's a little theory of mine. So first they show us Knuckles, and then they show Emerald Coast. And really, so this is supposed to be Knuckles' level. Emerald Coast in this game is supposed to represent Knuckles' level. And why? Well, Emerald Coast is now frozen over in this game, which I think is supposed to be a reference to Sonic 3, the Ice Cap Zone, which I believe was on Angel Island. So, really, an island that's frozen over? It's kind of reminiscent of Knuckles, because Sonic 3 was the game that Knuckles made his first appearance in. So this could possibly be a reason why Knuckles' level in Sonic Shuffle is Emerald Coast being frozen. Next we have our boy Tails. They show the level Firebird for Tails. Why? Because it's a flying fortress. Tails flies. This is Tails' level. It's a flying ship. Tails is known for his flying abilities. The level is also reminiscent of the Egg Carrier from Sonic Adventure. I know it's called the Egg Carrier. I'm just joking around because that's the way Eggman said it in the game. The Egg Carrier! Anyway, so that's why I really think the Firebird level is why they show Tails. Now next we have Amy, which is a little tricky to pin down why they gave Amy's level Nature Zone. This is Amy's level in Sonic Shuffle because this level to me is kind of reminiscent of the kind of levels you see in Sonic CD, like the first levels in Sonic CD, like Palm Tree Panic or whatever that level's called. And that's the game that Amy made her first appearance in. If you look at the color scheme of Nature Zone, you got pink, you got light blues, there's like magenta colors in there's green, there's blues. And the level kinda is like 3 or 4 different styles of a world combined into one world. And I think this is meant to represent the levels of Sonic CD, like the first level that you see Amy in. Because in Sonic CD, when you time travel, the levels get all discombobulated and different parts of the levels change and the colors change. So in the levels of Sonic CD, there's a lot of different colors that mesh together, where the levels in Sonic CD really feel like a collage of many different styles in one level. And that's why I think this Nature Zone is meant to represent kind of a reminiscent of Sonic CD. And that's why it's Amy's level. Next we have Sonic. Sonic's level is Riot Train. They show the train. Why is this Sonic's level in Sonic Shuffle? Because the blue blur speeds and runs. Riot Train, a fast train. Speed concept is meant to represent that this is Sonic's stage. It's also the hardest of the 4 original levels as you progress, so they kind of wanted to make Sonic's level significant in this game, especially that they show it last of the 4 of them. All 4 of these levels belong to the 4 characters. That's Knuckles' level, that's Tails' level, that's Amy's level, and that's Sonic's level. It's just like how they did it in the first Mario Party, where there were levels named after the characters. This is the first Sonic Shuffle game, and they kind of wanted to do the same thing for Sonic and the gang. There was no Sonic Shuffle 2 or 3, but whatever. Kind of wish there was. Next we come to another secret, the number on each card given to each character. So first let's talk about Knuckles. Knuckles gets number 5. I think this is meant to represent that he is the second strongest of all the characters in Sonic Shuffle, of like the 5 main characters. Because like I said earlier, number 2 belongs to Eggman. So Sonic has the number 6 card, which they show after the 3 their cards. So Sonic is slightly stronger than Knuckles, or slightly better than Knuckles. Sonic gets number 6. It's not Knuckles Shuffle. It's Sonic Shuffle. Tails is the 3rd strongest, so he gets the card number 3, and Amy is the least strongest with all of them, with Eggman, so she gets the number 2 card. But once again, just like the number 2 card in the intro, I believe these cards have double meanings. Knuckles gets number 5 because he's the 2nd strongest, but at the same time, the double meaning for 5 for Knuckles is because the 5th mainline Sonic game was Sonic 3 back in the day. Not including the Game Gear titles. You got Sonic 1, then you have Sonic CD, then you have Sonic 2, so that's 3 games. Then you have Sonic Spinball, which came out before Sonic 3, so that's 4. So the 5th game would be Sonic 3, which is where Knuckles made his first appearance. So really, him having the number 5 card is showing that the 5th Sonic game, Knuckles made his first appearance. I don't think I would include Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine as the 5th Sonic title game, because that's a spin-off game. It's an Eggman game, it's not a main Sonic game, and it's a puzzle game. But why would I include Sonic Spinball instead? Well, it is a Sonic game where you play as Sonic. It is an adventure game, technically, because it's more than just a pinball game. There are little elements in it that are different than a regular pinball game. Plus, it actually also has a story. So technically, even before Sonic 3, the game that came out before it was Sonic Spinball on the Genesis. At the time, that kind of was almost a mainline Sonic title. So this would technically make the 5th mainline Sonic game Sonic 3. Tails appeared in the 3rd Sonic game, which is why he has the card number 3. Because the first Sonic game to come out was Sonic 1. And then you had Sonic Crackers, which was like a obscure MegaNet game on the Genesis in like Japan only, I think, or something. And that was released in like 1992 or 1991, actually. And I believe that was officially released, technically. So then the 3rd Sonic title would be Sonic 2. The 3rd Sonic title, Tails makes his appearance, his first appearance. So that's why Tails gets the 3rd card. Amy has the number 2 card because, depending on how you look at it, you could consider Sonic CD the 2nd Sonic title. Because Sonic CD was in development like right after Sonic 1 was released, or around the same time that Sonic 1 was being made. And plus, Tails is not in it, and Sonic shares the same sprite in Sonic CD that he shares in Sonic 1. So, really, Sonic CD is kind of like an alternate version of Sonic 1. You could almost view Sonic CD as the actual second Sonic title, which would make, depending on your perspective, of course, this would make Amy to be the number 2 card to be the second Sonic title, which was Sonic CD, where she made her first appearance. All three of these cards, for Knuckles, Tails, and Amy, I do think they have double meanings to them, which is interesting and significant. It's like paying homage to the characters in a unique and secret way. And Sonic Shuffle, in and of itself, the game is just oozing of secrets. The whole point of the game is about being secretive and mysterious. Everything about Imaginary World is mysterious. Nothing makes sense, but at the same time, there's some logic to it. But it's like a dream-like atmosphere the game has, where you don't know why this is happening. It could all be a dream, like in Super Mario Bros. 2. With all the mysteries going on, it makes sense that the intro would have little mysteries in it too for the players to figure out as the years go by. Because really, when you first watch this intro, it does make you wonder, why do these characters have certain numbers? And then, well, I kind of put it all together. I mean, these are my theories. I don't know if they're right at all. None of us will ever know, because no one fucking talks about Sonic Shuffle. The people that created the game don't talk about it. To this day, the stuff that are mysteries about the game will probably always be a mystery.